Hi everybody, I'm Allison and I'm a doll collector. I've been consciously collecting dolls since I was about 10 years old. I've been asked to do a tour of my doll room by a couple different people, so I thought I would do a video and kind of show off some of my collection and how I organize my collection and how I display it. Now, on the entrance to my room I have this little poster. This kind of dates how long I've been collecting. I made this back in 6th grade. We had a keyboarding teacher that let us print mini posters off and she laminated it, and I held on to this all this time because I knew one day I would have a super awesome room with just my dolls in it, and this would have to be on the entrance. So here it is. Now come inside with me and I'll show you around. This is my room. Welcome. And if you take a look around, you'll see I have quite a few dolls. But again, I have been collecting consciously. I say consciously because I've always loved dolls. But I have been collecting for about, it'll be about 30 years now. So I'm 34. Oh, that's 24 years, sorry. Okay, so if you take a look here on this wall, I have a set of built-in shelves that my brother did for me. So I begged him to do these for me, and he finally did them, and they turned out great in my opinion. He didn't want to do them because he was afraid they would turn out kind of funny. Also a nice touch that I like is my Totoro switch plate. So everything has a little touch of whimsy in here. I like to feel like it does anyway. So here by the door I have a chest. This is from American Girl where I keep a lot of doll clothes. I've got my Kim Arnold dolls up on top of that. Then over here in my wall shelf, I have some of my Harry Potter collection from Tonner, which they have been teasing this week on social media, their new Newt Scamander doll. So I really can't wait for that guy. He's going to have to be here in the collection. I don't know where I'm going to put him, but he has to join the collection. So up on the top shelf here, I have some of my wild dolls. I have a doll that my husband brought me from Germany. A Kathy Cruz doll, which I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, and then I have my Amy doll from F&B Doll Studio. I have my Nikki Britt big girls and boy here on these shelves, and then I have another Russian doll artist here, Nikki Britt's Adeline, and then a couple more Tonner dolls here. So those are some of those aren't necessarily my favorite dolls. A lot of them are my favorites. But I try to rotate this display out and display different dolls at different times. Right now these are kind of the ones I've been playing with the most, so that's why they're out here. Now if you'll turn and look this way, I have 3 shelves, and you can see they are completely at capacity. Oh gosh, I have a naked doll up front. I just realized that. I apologize for the nudity. But anyway, these things are at capacity, but I'm going to kind of go through each one and show you what I have really quickly here. So in this first cabinet, I'm going to open the doors up. I have on the top shelf a few of my Chrissy dolls. I have my Shirley Temple doll, which a good friend of mine gave me. She's one of my favorite dolls. I had always wanted a composition Shirley Temple doll, and her grandmother had one, and she gave that to me. Some of my Kewpie dolls, I've had these since I was really young. Then on this next shelf, I have some of my Engel pup dolls that were made in Epcot at the Germany Pavilion at Disney World, and they don't make those anymore, so I've been trying to collect all of these on the secondary market, so that's been kind of fun and frustrating at some times. And then on the next couple of shelves, I just have a variety of dolls, kind of a hodgepodge mix. These dolls are Prima Perez. They're from Mexico. And I actually found those, they're Mexican play dolls, and I have Juanita Perez as well, which is the older cousin of these dolls. And I just love play dolls from all over the world, so that's how I ended up collecting a lot of the dolls that I have here. I have a lot of international play dolls in my collection. So let's move to the next cabinet. And here, on the top shelf, I have a lot of my Chrissy dolls. And again, there's kind of an international flair to my Chrissy collection. These are the Chrissy dolls from Brazil. And then Poor Cricket's naked, and I'm sorry about that. Whoops. I got a couple of Chrissy dolls from Mexico made by the Lily Lady Company. And this Chrissy in the green trench coat is actually the only doll that I received from my mom that my mom passed down to me. My mom is not a doll person, and I don't think she ever was. So Chrissy dolls kind of have a special place in my heart. It's actually funny, my mom came over here and said something about this Chrissy doll, and she said, "Why is my Chrissy doll wearing that?" And I said, "That's not your Chrissy, that's your Chrissy." And she thought that was funny. I kind of thought so too, because I know which one's which. So on the next shelf I have all of my American Girl dolls, with the exception of the Welly Wishers. All of these dolls I received in my childhood, with Josefina being the last one that I received on my 16th birthday. Kirsten was the first one I got when I was 8. So I try to take good care of them, and you can see I still have them today, and I'm 34 years old, so if that says anything about how much I really like dolls. The next two shelves I have Nancy Famosa dolls made by the Famosa Company, and what happened, the way I got collecting these dolls is I started learning Spanish, and when I started learning Spanish, I started doing doll searches in Spanish on Google, and Nancy was one of the dolls that always popped up, and I just fell in love with her face. She has the sweetest face. So I have a big collection of both vintage and what they call re-edition Nancy's. They make these specifically for collectors. And they can be kind of difficult to get because they're not really big here in the States. But I've actually visited Spain and got to buy some there. And then there's a couple of places that will ship here, so that's how I've gotten most of those. In my third cabinet, on the top shelf, I have another hodgepodge. I've got a couple of Chrissy dolls. I've got two German dolls. This one was my aunt's, and this one a good friend brought for me back from Germany. These are the Juanita Perez dolls I was talking about earlier. I don't know if you can, I'm kind of short, so it's hard for me to point them out. They are the Mexican play dolls, the taller version, or not version, but the taller cousin of the Prima Perez dolls. This doll here, and you'll see a couple like that in my collection, are the modern Nancy dolls. So they're these Nancy's, but the company reworked them and tried to make them more modern. On the second shelf, I have all of my American Girls that I've gotten as an adult, and you can see the diversity in the American Girls has improved a lot. You see all these dolls here. This is what was available for the most part when I was a kid, and now you can see they have a really better selection of dolls. On this third shelf, I have my Heart for Hearts dolls, which I got those a while back, but the cool thing is they've started producing these again. They had a little blip in their production. They're great dolls. They're inexpensive. They sell them at Target. If you're looking to add an inexpensive doll to your collection, I really can't recommend these enough. Also, they can share clothes with little darlings, so if you collect little darlings or other dolls of that size, these are great. On the bottom, I have another mix of kind of what doesn't go together got put down here, including, this is a Madame Alexander doll that wants to keep jumping out. My Iranian play dolls, the Dara Sara dolls, some more Nancy's, and a couple other Chrissy dolls. Okay. Here is where I pretend to sew. I'm not very good at it, but I like to try. I've got my little darlings here in a case, and I've got some of my tiny BJDs up here. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have a couple more little darlings coming, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to deal with displaying them. On the top shelf here, I have my Bob Mackie Barbies. And so Masquerade Ball Barbie, which is the one in black, the third one over, that's actually the first kind of expensive collector doll that I ever got. I got her when I was 11 years old. I still have her. She's still in great condition. So I'm glad that as a kid I try to take care of my stuff. And then over here, down here I kind of have some of my craft supplies and sewing supplies. I have my desk here with a rail full of knickknacks, some of my favorite stuffed animals and things. My great-grandma made all of these for me before she passed away. And then if you take a look in the closet here, this is kind of my nerd closet. I have my Nintendo games, and this is my Nintendo gaming closet. So just to get a look at the whole room, so I don't know if you could see from the video, but the carpet is purple. And I wanted to do tile originally, but I realized if one of these resin dolls fell onto tile, I would be inconsolable. So I decided to go with carpet. I have a beautiful chandelier type light fixture that my wonderful husband installed for me. And I have some artwork. This is a Frida Kahlo with her doll. This is a Small World picture that I actually won online, which was cool. I have a cat artwork that a good friend of mine that's a doll collector had sent to me as a gift. Beautiful. And then I have a marker board that my friend made me after the Harry Potter series. So I hope you've enjoyed the collection. If you have any questions about it or how I designed the room or how I decided what to go with, please leave me a comment and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thanks for watching.